So we are out on this beautiful day on the TW200. This is the first road ride of the season for this bike. I just pulled the grip studs out. It's really kind of been a while, and with all the new machines I've got in the garage, I sort of forgot about the little TW here, and I've got to say I'm quite enjoying my ride today. What I decided to do today is go out and find a nice spot to park this thing, and we'll give it a once over. I'll show you everything that I've done to it in the past 2 years, because I've kind of decided that I think this bike is done. There's nothing else out there that I can think of anyway, or that I know about yet anyhow, that I want to do to this bike. I think for what I want to do with it, I think it's pretty much ready to go. We'll find a good spot and we'll show you what exactly I ended up with here with my TW build. As long as none of these guys tackle me on the way in here. They're for the deer that you see that are the problem. It's the ones that you don't see. Stay where you're at, thinking about it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Nope. Looks like a good place to take a TW, doesn't it? Maybe if it had some studs on the tires. And if you guys missed, oh jeez. Well, now it's going to be a mess by the time we get down there. If you guys missed those videos, this bike actually did not well at all with the grip studs in the tires. It really does okay on sections where it's just ice, and right here would probably be just fine. I always thought that the fat tires would really help it out, and I think just in general it does, but if you're trying to really get some performance out of it and you got grip studs in the tires are just too fat, you can't get down to the ice to get any traction. You just sort of stay on top of the snow. Oh, there's another deer. See, I'm telling you, they're gonna try and tackle me. Oh, somebody's been down that's on a dual sport. Look at that. I thought that looked like a motorcycle tire. Look at these guys. You're not even on a trail. What are you doing? Just go into the woods. Silly deer. After getting splattered with, whoa, some cow manure that I came across on the road last year, I decided to stick a different fender on this, hoping that, whoa, if it stuck out a little farther, it would help protect me. Woo. But it seems like I still have stuff flying over the fender. Maybe it's a little better. I thought this would be all dried out. I really didn't think that the way in here would be an adventure, but it definitely is. I don't mind a little adventure on the TW. That's what this thing is good for. Honestly, this is probably the most adventurous motorcycle that I have in the garage, as much as all the other ones are probably considered much better for adventure riding. This is certainly the most adventurous, and I've definitely gotten myself into some sticky situations with this thing, and man, it always does a great job getting me back out. Oh, this isn't plowed. Certainly wouldn't want to buy one of these to take around the world. Oh. However, you definitely, of course, could do that. There's just maybe better options out there, but woo. This, I think, really is, as much as people call the KLR 650 a dual bike. Oh, landing gear is going to stay down, and RPMs are going to go up. Maybe we'll just stop and do this here. Woo. As much as people say the KLR is a dual bike, this thing can definitely do quite a lot. Ow, come on. Try second gear. That's a little better. Whoa. Oops. Is the rear tire going in the ditch? I don't think so. Nope, now it is again. How's the middle? The middle, I said. The middle. There we go. The middle. You know, I was going to do this in the garage. Whew! Oh, man. Okay. Well, there's my workout for the day. Oh, and what a beautiful day it is. I should have brought some water. So, hopefully we can see everything underneath the snow and slush that I've now packed up underneath the motorcycle. We're not going to really go through this in any particular order. I will kind of mention whether or not I like what I've done or if I would have gone a different route. But in general, like I said, I'm pretty happy with the build so far. So the very first thing that I did with this bike that I think is absolutely necessary is put some wider foot pegs on here. These are just a set of Amazon or eBay pegs, super cheap. I would probably recommend the Tusk pegs. They're about twice the cost of these, but I've got those on the Gen 3 Killer 650, and they are definitely better. They're wider, they're a little bit deeper, and they provide a little bit more traction. Either way, a wider set of foot pegs is definitely nice. Something that would be lowered and set back a little bit would be even better, but I'm not sure if there's anything like that out there. And staying in sort of the same general area, we've got the Ricochet skid plate on here. This was an absolute must. I took this thing on some rocky single track and was extremely nervous because the old skid plate, even though it was metal, albeit very thin metal, it didn't really do very much to protect the sides of the case. And I think this side in particular was much worse. It also didn't protect the shift linkage here. So that was completely exposed, and I was definitely nervous that I was going to smash a rock into that. So definitely happy with that. Might add a little bit of extra noise just because it kind of acts as a satellite dish for the motor. But I don't know, whatever, it's definitely worth it. I don't even think about that at all. I guess we can just kind of continue working our way up here. When I purchased this bike, the seal underneath the carburetor in between that and the bowl was pretty much completely shot. I should have replaced it right away, but I switched that out and then put the ProCycle needle jet kit in here. Doesn't really do a whole lot, basically just kind of makes it run a little bit more rich. And I don't know, it's not a huge deal, but I would say I'm glad I did it. Move up to the front here. This is a Shinko 241, all covered in snow there. As you can see, it's sort of like a trials tire pattern. Definitely a deep lug, but also kind of spaced close together, which, as you can see, the snow just sort of packed up in there. Not that you want to buy a tire necessarily to ride on snow. It does okay in everything else that I've thrown at it. I haven't really been in a situation where I regretted it. Originally, you guys might remember I stuck a ridiculous tire on here. I think it was a K257D or something like that, and it was like the most intense version of that you could buy. So it had super tall, intense lugs, way more plies than it had any business having on the front of a motorcycle. I originally put that on there because I was going to do the ATV tire conversion on the back of this. However, after I looked into some things with my insurance and information that I got from other people that said that if you're looking to ride this bike on the road at all, or to do stuff like single track, you don't really want a big heavy ATV tire. And I found it for myself, you don't really want a big heavy front tire either, especially with the mixed in with the ProCycle high fender kit that I've got on here, which will be the next thing, but we'll hold off on that for a second. With that up there and the brace in here removed, that big heavy tire on there really made the front end kind of walk around on its own. Just was not a good situation, which is why I switched out for this tire. There's also the Shinko 244 out there that I go back and forth on sometimes, whether or not that would be better. Honestly, it's probably a marginal difference. I kind of just picked this one because I thought it looked a little bit closer to the back tire. So like I said, I removed the fork brace here. You actually could put that back in even if you are going to run the high fender, I think, unless that would crash. It might actually crash into that, I'm not sure. I bet it would. So maybe you can't do that. Anybody know? Let us know down in the comments there. So this is the ProCycle high fender kit. Basically, it's just a bracket that gets bolted onto your triple tree clamps here, the lower one there and there. And then there is just a hand bent bracket that sticks underneath the bottom, or part of the bracket, I guess, that the fender is bolted up to. You can see the fasteners down there. And then the fender that I went with here is the Polysport Supermoto fender, I believe it's called. And I'll have links for all this stuff down in the description. I'll mark whether or not it's an affiliate link. Any of this stuff to Rocky Mountain ATV is going to be affiliate links. If you guys use those links, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but it essentially allows me to ride motorcycles and sort of call it a part-time job. Anytime you got to pick up an oil change or an air filter or whatever, all you got to do is click on one of my links and then buy something from Rocky Mountain ATV. And like I said, it helps you make more videos like this for you guys. So as far as the fender goes, obviously, like I said, we're still throwing some stuff over the front of it. Obviously the back is kind of open, so, and kind of thin too, especially for the wide tire. So It definitely still kind of lets the bike make a mess of itself, but honestly, I don't know if it's really any worse than the low fender would be. I think as short and stubby as that is, you still kind of make a mess of the bike. I mean, if you're going to ride through dirt, you're going to get it dirty, so probably not worth worrying about too much. Just watch out for that cow manure. Attached to, or I guess behind that bracket, is going to be the J&S Engineering LED light brackets here. So this is not quite a 90-degree bend bracket, but a bracket that kind of follows the contour of the forks and then shoots out. Obviously you can do a little bit of adjusting if you need to, and then you can just bolt any light that you want, more or less, up to the bracket there. I feel like I'm hearing things. If you guys see any wolves moving in, let me know. So attached to those, I've got some aux beam lights here. They're not super pointed. I've tried 10-degree spot beams before, did not like those. These are, I think, maybe like a 30-degree. I guess you guys can take a look down in the description for them if you're interested. Definitely happy to have these, though. They certainly add a lot of extra fill, which I really like. I've got these tapped right into my high beam circuit. So all I've got to do is flip the high beam switch on or off here, and those lights act accordingly. High beams on, auxiliary lights come on, high beams off, auxiliary lights go off. If you guys want to see how I did that, there'll be a video linked down in the description. You can check that out. In that same video, or I guess a video previous to that, probably, maybe not, I don't remember. There's a couple different videos that tried some different lights on here, and I've also tried a couple different headlights in here. This is going to be an aux beam light. This one in particular seems like it works really well. The high beam works well. The low beam isn't very low. It kind of just goes everywhere. So I don't know. I should probably switch back to the other one that I tried previously. This is attached to a 3D printed bracket that you can kind of see in here that I purchased off eBay. There'll be a link for that down in the description too. Works really well. Allows you to keep your little foam shroud in there that you can probably not see at all. That basically just kind of keeps the light from shooting back at you underneath this cowl there. So that definitely works good. It's a little bit clunky to get together and doesn't really allow you to aim the headlight, but you can kind of just bend stuff around and get it to work either way. In general, as far as lighting goes up front here, I'm actually really happy with everything that I've done. Definitely makes this bike a lot more enjoyable and a lot safer to ride at night. Along the same lines of lighting here, we'll switch over to the rear of the bike. So this is a fender eliminator of my own design here. This is a fairly inexpensive yet DOT approved LED taillight that is actually pretty darn bright. Probably won't be able to get the full effect out here in the sun, but that's just your running light. I don't know that I'm going to be able to show you the brake light. I guess we could patch a video in here if we need to, but hopefully that gave you some indication of it. But it is definitely a bright brake light. Definitely like it. You guys can check out the video on it, but I basically just custom fit some shelving brackets in there and then kind of patched in this little reflector here. Got some on the side there too, just to make sure it's all legal and safe. Check out that video, or actually, you know what? I think what I'll do is just put the entire playlist of all the mods for this bike down in the description. You guys can just check those out and pick and choose which video you want. Definitely happy with that. Never had any problems with it other than when I flipped the bike over backwards, and then I think it did get bent up a little bit, but other than that, it's been doing great. Above that, we've got the Tusk 22-liter side load dry duffel bag. This bag, originally I thought I liked. It's definitely nice that it's got this zipper on the top. However, that's not exactly waterproof. Ask me how I know. I washed it with stuff in there and it got wet. It's definitely a nice bag, and I think maybe on a bigger bike it would maybe make a little bit more sense. But I actually just got the 10-liter, which is obviously a little bit more than half the size of this, and put that on my much larger Husqvarna 701. And I've got to say, I like that size better. I've never really filled this up, and I mean, obviously you could jam stuff in there, but the more room you have, the more stuff you pack, and the more stuff you pack, the heavier the bike is. So honestly, I think if I had to go and do this again, I would put a 10-liter on here. Not that the 22 doesn't work, and if you need that, great. But either way, these Tusk dry duffels work excellent as tail bags. I've got them on all my bikes. Definitely highly recommend them. And this is attached to, I think, just the Yamaha rack. I don't think this is anything, I mean, I guess it's sort of aftermarket, but I didn't put that on there. It was on there when I got the bike. no complaints. Happy to have it there. Obviously gives me a place to put the bag. Moving back up here to the front of the bike, I guess I should probably mention, everybody always asks what's going on up here. This is an Insta360 pole on a small somethings clamp. I'll have links again down in the description for it. And this is an Insta360 camera, which I think has now shut off on me. This is definitely a cool system and cool technology. If you guys make motorcycle videos, I highly recommend looking into these. They're a bit pricey, but they're definitely cool. Obviously, it's not really part of the bikes, but that's what allows me to get the sort of shot from the front, third-person shot that looks like somebody's out here holding a camera in front of me. Basically, it's just a lens on each side of this, and they sort of overlap because there's such a wide angle that it gives you that illusion that you're just looking at the bike, and it kind of cuts this pole out on its own because those are overlapped. When did I turn the key on? Better turn that back off. Hopefully that battery that I stuck in there, I guess that'll be the next thing, is good enough and has enough juice to get me going again here, because this would not be a fun walk out of here. So underneath the seat, I stuck a lithium-ion battery. I cannot for the life of me remember what the brand is. It's just one of the ones off Amazon. You have to stick a bunch of foam down in there. I think I actually used up foam sanding blocks, which probably isn't the best idea, but they're good and soft. They were used well beyond their usefulness, so those are in there to kind of keep the battery in place. It's definitely a weight savings, and it's a fairly inexpensive battery. Haven't used it long enough to say whether or not I would recommend it. We'll keep you guys up to date on that. If there are any issues, I can put a comment down below if I do have any problems with it. Attached to that battery, running underneath the gas tank, and up here is a Tusk 12-volt socket. Ugh. And inside of that, we've just got this little Auki. What the heck does that say? I was gonna say it says anchor, but that's not anchor. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, this little 12-volt cigarette lighter to USB converter in there, and then just a 9090 elbow plugged into my GPS here to run that. This definitely works very well. Very happy with it. Sturdy enough bracket. I think it's plastic, but I've never had an issue with it, other than the fact that it's just plugged in directly to the battery. So I have actually, in my previous battery, I killed a couple times accidentally leaving this plugged in. So having that on an accessory wire or something would probably be a much smarter decision. So like I said, that's plugged into the Garmin GPS here. Underneath that and the bar here is this bracket here that I think is just supposed to be an action camera mount for a handlebar, and then I've sort of got a couple sections of action camera linkage stuck together, and then I've got a back door from a GoPro mount stuck, VHB taped actually, to the bottom side of this. This is of course just a automotive GPS. This is a Nuvi 50LM or 40LM. I think this is the 50LM. I've got a whole bunch of these that I've just purchased super cheap off of eBay. Absolutely love them. Stuck a VV Maps chip in there that shows me all of the county land borders, state land, managed forest land, and it shows ATV and snowmobile trail. So pretty nice. Definitely good to have. Awesome information on there. Definitely worth looking into if you're in Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, and I think like Ohio? I don't know. There'll be information on their website. You can definitely check it out. It's certainly worth it. And also sort of connected to the battery via a keyed accessory wire. Actually, it's not accessory wire though. It is the running lights for the blinkers here. Not the part that pulses when you actually turn the turn signal on, but just the light that's always on when you turn the key on. I've just got that tapped right into there. That definitely worked well. The grip heaters are not the best thing out there, but for $20, definitely worth doing, I think. If you wrapped some electrical tape, I'm told, around the bars before you put these on it, I think they work a little bit better, but they definitely don't get nearly as hot as the set that I've got on the 701. And I guess I should mention this. I use VHB tape on anything. This is VHB taped just to the bottom of the little gauge cluster here. Definitely works well. It's not going anywhere. Definitely good to have a roll of VHB tape in your toolbox. But on top of those grip heaters here, we've just got the Tusk grips. These work well enough. They're grippy. There are better, higher quality, much more expensive options out there that maybe are worth getting, maybe not. I guess that's all up to you. But these are, I swear I keep hearing things. I've got earplugs in, but I swear I keep hearing things. I think I'm going nuts. Probably Sasquatch running around behind me here. So these are on a set of CR high bend 7/8 Tusk bars. I've got those attached to their risers. I don't remember if they've got 2 sizes of these. If they do, these are the tallest risers that you can get. I'm pretty happy with them. Honestly though, if I was to go do this again, I would probably go with the 7/8 to 1 1/8 bar riser conversion. I think it's the same height, but then you can get a fat bar so you don't have to mess with the center bar here. And I did actually have to take this off at one point, I think, to get the clamps for the Tusk D-Flex handguards on here, which I love, by the way. Great set of handguards. Lots of wind protection, and definitely a strong set of guards. Been down on these a couple times. One of these is all scraped up right there. I've got reflective strip on it. Super nice. Definitely a good quality set of very inexpensive handguards. But what I was saying is, after I took this crossbar off, now it seems like when I really reef up on the bars, something in here makes like a weird clicking noise. And I mean, I don't think it's anything bad, it's just kind of annoying. But basically, the nice part about having that fat bar is that it's a lot more rigid. So even with a lower bend like this, you still need this cross brace in here to kind of keep that rigid with the 7/8 bar. But with a larger bar, you don't have to worry about that, and I just like the look a lot better. The whole cockpit is just kind of cleared up then. I think I'm talking super funny. This helmet is squeezing my face a bit. Now, regardless of whether you're looking at the 7/8 bars or the 1 1/8 bars, Tusk or Renthal or whoever you want to go to has quite a few different bends. I would say basically you're just going to want to look up whatever the stock bend of any motorcycle you have is, and then sort of compare that. There's a couple different specs, sweep and rise and that sort of thing, but essentially the reason that I went with this set of bars instead of the stock bars is they are a little bit less swept back. So the stock bars, it was sort of like riding a beach cruiser motorcycle, beach cruiser bicycle, but with these now, they're brought forward a little bit. I think they are maybe a tad higher, and obviously since I stuck the bar risers on here, then they came kind of back and up a little bit. Would be nice to maybe have them a little bit farther forward, but everything pretty much works just the way it is. I think I did have to flip the throttle around. This used to be on the top here and kind of come over this way or around the front. I don't even remember now. But anyway, everything works. You just have to flip that around again if you want to see that in action. You can check out that video where I installed them. The bars are a little bit wider, which is nice. You just, I don't know, feel a little bit better with them a little bit wider. Or I guess I do anyways. You can trim them down if you wanted to. Plenty of control room there. Is that it? Did I just run through everything? I was thinking there was something else. I feel like I tried to fly through that. Now I think I'm done. Yeah, I think that's it. Sweet. So there you go. My 2002, I think it is, TW200 build. Definitely, like I said, happy with everything that I've done more or less. Obviously, there's always things that, you know, maybe you change here and there a little bit, but in general, definitely happy with this bike. I've had an absolute blast riding it around. I have kind of tossed up the idea of getting rid of it or passing it on to somebody else, but honestly, I don't know that I will. I think for now anyways, my plan is to just keep this thing around and just sort of take it out, putt around on it every once in a while. It's definitely a nice chill bike to ride. It's definitely a good bike to learn on, definitely a good bike to lend to a buddy that either doesn't have a motorcycle or is, you know, just in town visiting or whatever. So I think it's definitely going to be a good thing to have around for somebody else to ride with me, or like I said, for me to just take out to the gas station or out for a nice snowy ride on a beautiful spring day here. So hopefully this video was helpful to you. If it was, give it a like. Let me know down in the comments section. If you guys have any TW wisdom that you'd like to share with the group, leave it down in the comments there. Other than that, guys, take care, stay safe, stay swanky, get out, enjoy this beautiful world any chance you get. And if you can't do that right now, check out some more videos in the meantime. I hope this starts.